And welcome. It's a beautiful spring day outside for Carnival of Randomness here on Get Mad Radio and many other formats far and wide. And this is Rob More or Less. And
Rob Morales?
If you went to Record Store Day, you had to probably buy a few records that Greg was on because he's on everything.
Yeah.
Right now he's currently being rumored as being the mystery kaiju in Godzilla -0. I will not confirm or deny it.
I can't wait.
Big drummer man.
Yeah, that rubber suit was fucking hot, let me tell you.
But these guests are very distinguished guests, I would say. They need no introduction, but if I didn't introduce them and you're listening, you'd have to, guess the guests. Maybe we'll do that sometime. But very thrilled to have Mr. Nate Coffey here.
Hello.
And I think, Nate, you always just have a way. I used to say Colin Blunstone for singers. You don't have to jump around like Jagger saying, but you just look cool playing bass. You sit there going, I'm playing, I'm cool.
They always
They were
cool.
very thrilled that I had to work on pronouncing his last name correctly the last week after I goofed it up talking to Andy 4 times. It's Tommy Gravino.
Yeah, you got it, brother.
Yay!
Hi, Tommy.
Show's over, I'm happy.
Well done.
I bet my dad always had a thing like that. He was like Archie Bunker, with names. And you'd go to order from Giuseppe's, he'd call it Geppetto's. I don't know what it is. But one thing I want to ask in general, and as you know, we're very sort of jazzy and freeform on the show, being longtime musicians, just in general, some comments about, our brave new world. How is being a local musician, what is sort of the effects of social media and worse off now AI?
Yeah, I've heard some songs on AI that are great. They sound really nice. I don't know. It's scary, actually.
No, there's one. I've seen a couple scam things where people would say, we've been in the music business, one of those families. We've been in the music business for 80 years. We'll write you a song. It's AI.
Well, I have to say that I used it recently because I was working with a guy that recorded a song with me, a song that we did organically, but he had access to this AI stuff, and so what I did was I gave him a disc, or I had actual songs recorded, so he uploads them, and then you put them into the AI program, and they get rearranged a bit, but they keep the same words. They grab all the words. It's kind of scary.
Yeah,
it gets all the words. It takes notes from the solo and throws them in there, and they're faithful. They
It takes 5 minutes. Is this right?
Yeah, and it's it spits it out. He gives you 2 different versions each time.
Wow.
So, and I used one of them, and I sent it to WITR, and the guy liked it, and he played it.
Wow.
But it's the same song. It came from an organic source. But it's not hey, write me a song about this. I don't do that.
Write me a ragtime ballad from the 1920s.
But it gives you ideas how you can do the songs once you get some people together.
Yeah, harmony ideas.
Yeah, in that respect, it's good, but I wouldn't want to depend on it too much.
Now, there's there's a channel I watch called Pleasant Green where he exposes different scammers. And one thing he did was, there's one I was talking about, the songwriter scam. He said, I met my wife when we dressed as chickens as a benefit at a bowling alley. You write a song about it, and they wrote a pretty good song about we were dressed as chickens in a bowling alley.
Really? AI did that?
Yeah.
Wow.
But the other part I wanted to just talk a little about our craziness of social media, and as you've grown up in music and playing, now you have to promote yourselves, get out there. How has social media, you think, affected local playing?
Well, there's a lot to write about right now, if you want to get into it. I haven't just been thinking about that, I should really write a song with these modern times is what's happening today. And
there's nothing to write about. It's calm. It's
plenty to write about, so there's a lot of fodder there.
I think a lot of ways, for me, the way I look at it, too, in terms of before, it's you had to get the word out. You're playing, you're doing everything. Now, you get caught up in the whirlpool because there's so much, getting your stuff out, but there's also how many other things out there. And I've always think the idea of choice, where before I used to use the analogy, well, okay, if you wanted ketchup, you had to buy this ketchup. Now there's 100 brands.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I still go, like, for friends, I'll ask for recommending music. It's like people I know or friends, hey, what are you listening to? That's how I still go.
Oh, okay. That's a good way to go.
I still go, and then I can always go, well, Josh, why did you recommend the Fruit Flies album? I did like it.
I have something else on the opposite end of the spectrum that I just realized a few weeks ago, and I have to do something about it, and I don't exactly know what to do. So I was on Spotify one day, and I put one of my song titles in there just to see if anything came up, and I'll be damned, something came up with the same title. I hit it, and it was my song. It was done by this thing called Black Pearl. And I think it's just an AI conglomeration but I don't know where they fished this thing from.
Wow.
It was the same melody, same lyrics.
They're stealing your work.
Yeah, and I never really put it out there anyplace. And I can't figure out, where it came from.
Wow.
I mean, I have some stuff on Broadjam, but it wasn't on that list of stuff. So I'm a little creepy about that. So I got to get a hold of some people.
I can't help myself, Greg. Maybe they fished it out of Sodus Bay.
Could be. Or
but how did this
cesspool or something?
The crazy world of being a musician. When did you get the calling? This is like, hey, I want to do this.
You want to go, Tommy?
Go ahead.
I was like 12, 13, just trying to figure out what I was going to do with myself, my life, So I was like thinking about it consciously then. I was like, well, I could play football because I like to do that. But I was kind of small, but I was good at it. And then music just seemed natural for me. I started on the drums.
Yeah, just having a little chuckle because I played football. We didn't win a game. We didn't win a game for our first 2 years.
Oh, man.
Then we went to the sectionals. And I still think that was really fun.
What position were you?
Defensive lineman, unfortunately.
Okay, that's what I was doing.
No, but I say that because I think of guys like... There's one guy we played versus Franklin. The guy was like... they had to call the Bills to get his pants.
Yeah.
He fell on me.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's why I stopped doing football and said music's a little safer.
Yeah, right?
Well, it depends unless you hit yourself with a drumstick,
Yeah, it depends, though. So, what did you have any, like... You really, like, when you were starting out and you're like, yeah, music. Do you have anything that really grabbed you in terms of, like musician, album?
Yeah, well, my dad played music, so I grew up...
That's a common denominator, I would say 90% of our guests.
Yeah, most definitely. He was always playing, and I wanted to hang with him, so I just started to copy what he did.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then I got good enough to join the band.
See, this is like, for all of you aspiring musicians, if you're in a musical family, embrace it. For me, my dad was good at making bologna and onion sandwiches, so I became a podcaster.
With or without mustard?
You're witty, man. Witty.
Good mustard.
Okay, good. Glad we got that clear.
Yeah, Tommy, how about you?
How about me?
How about you, Tommy?
Dad bought a piano. He wasn't a player, but...
He just bought it?
He just bought it and put it in the basement. It was one of those player pianos.
Oh, wow.
With the
Kurt
rolls.
Vonnegut's album. I think it's Kurt Vonnegut's novel.
You pedal them. Great unit. And I'm like, man, how can a piano player cover all those notes at once? Because they're all...
Did you have brothers and sisters?
Yeah. I had a brother. He played trumpet. So Vinny, Dad, bought my brother a trumpet. And he goes, Cicciotti's Music Store. Lyle Avenue, way back.
Wow, Cicciotti's.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so he said, you got 2 kids, give him the sax and see if he likes to play it. So started on sax.
I remember I went to Cheverasi's.
Okay, see, the only one... I remember, like, Duke Spinners and Music Lovers.
Yeah.
Because that's, like, I owe my brother a lot for, like, music. As I said, he's in local band New Math, like, and played Scourges and stuff. And the thing was, for me, you're growing up in high school... boring suburban life, and they just listen to what to call it, the in stuff.
Yeah.
But I would get diversity of all types of music.
Yeah, likewise.
So I was unpopular in high school from that side.
Well, Music Lovers is John Dreddo.
Yeah, he's been on.
Yeah.
Yeah, has he?
Yeah.
Good guy.
But I like the Lost. It was really fun too because we did the sort of the lost world of the music shop. I always think small shops, and I think of like for comic book shops, they're little homes for us in a way growing up. For a little bit of outsiders, you go in and you meet people. And I said I made a lot of friends just in music because wait a second, we're at the same gig. Wait, you got this shirt on. And what else? Not this shirt, but but as you went on now, how did you start like really like getting to start playing with people, getting band, starting to get out on the scene?
Go ahead, Nate.
Flip a coin from now on, guys.
Yeah, so I was, like I said, my dad played, so I was pretty fortunate because he was playing all the time, and he was really good, and he covered lots of styles, so I got good enough to join the band, and
he sang and played guitar too. Right?
Yeah, my dad sang and played guitar, so I just if his drummer couldn't make the gig, I became the drummer, and then I started gigging like when I was 12.
Wow.
Yeah, and then it was wild.
I always picture like the whole idea of like the way we grew up about trying to learn how to swim. Your dad would just go, "Hey, look, a butterfly," and throw you in.
That's right.
It's like that drug commercial. I learned it from watching you, Dad.
But what is the feeling of that of being 12 years old and like what's been the energy of like then hearing people when they dig your stuff too? Not like, oh, you suck.
No, it was awesome. I mean, I practiced from the time I was 12 to 16 when I got my bass. I played the drums every day for hours, 3 hours a day, every day. Led Zeppelin, Hendrix, anything I could practice to, I played.
The one for like a lot of my friends who drummed, one of the big ones they used to love to play with, Billy Square's "Lonely Is the Night," just because you could hit the.
But it carries over because that's why your timing is really good, and I think it facilitates your skill on the guitar too. I mean, you can rhythms and chopping and all that stuff, and I think drums that helps. That all helps.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, that's a good question. I've had many musicians that who've like, oh, how many instruments you play? Oh, just 7, 15. And how does that help when you're really, I'm not going to use the word master because you're proficient at it. I think you can never, there's always this level up here we'll never get to.
That's right.
But how does it help you then when you approach another instrument? You look at it, okay, I have to change the way I'm doing because this is completely different, or is they all sort of the same in a way?
No, it helps. Like Greg said, the rhythm, especially on drums, your timing and you're studying the different rhythms and offbeats. So you just incorporate, and plus you can inner hear. So I inner hear the other parts of the band when I'm writing a song.
Right.
I can sort of imagine what Tommy might play, and assign him his part, or just know that he's going to nail that because.
That's that touch. I've read the lives of the great composers, and a lot of them they could pick up stuff like one thing, like Mozart supposedly could just like read things right in his head.
Yeah,
that's just like sort of an innate thing. You think? I didn't make a pun, innate.
That's right. Yeah, definitely. I don't think everybody has that that music in their inner ear, but. A lot of people do.
I think that's sort of like really good teachers too. They have to bring what you have out. Some things I'm just being honest because I've written, I've done films. You can't teach some stuff.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, yeah, you're going to suck for a while. It takes a while. It takes years, to really get confident, like to improvise and know that you're going to be in key and stuff.
One thing I want to bring up too, because you're both talking about like formal music training a little bit, and you two had sort of we always have the best conversations before we get the show. But you two were talking a little about and how did that go? Like, did you take formal lessons?
Well, in school,
yeah,
I was in the school band from 3rd grade on.
How did you what did you really get out of that? Like, Greg can speak on that too, because
I've heard that. You got know the instrument. You played with symphonic bands, with 50-piece bands. You went on trips, you got to see what the road's like.
Right.
You got to hear the trumpets behind you, the violins in front of you, and you got to hear all sorts of different things passing you by when you play.
And you studied music in college too, right?
College too, yeah. Uh-huh.
So you started.
It's just progression. Yeah.
Ongoing. Yeah.
I remember playing, Tommy, with you quite a bit through the years.
Yeah.
You've always turned up somewhere, a lot of R&B stuff, and and back in the club days.
How did you meet this guy that basically you can't not meet Greg if it's like, well, there's a band that has a drummer. And
I started sort of young, and I was like always the youngest. Who's this kid? I used to go to all the, hey, can I jam with you guys? I was quite the pushy.
Yeah, you
bastard.
have to be.
So, and then it was like, yeah, sure, kid, go ahead. And then, they see that you don't suck, so next thing you know, you got some cred, and then it goes from there.
Yeah, that's what happened to me. My dad took me to, funny enough, an open mic, and I was like 13, and I played once with them down there, and they were like, our drummer's quitting next week. Can you be our drummer from now on? And that's how I got the gig. Right then.
It used to be very easy, didn't it?
Yeah.
I literally had a
now you
friend.
kill yourself to get
he
a
just got a gig because he does a Name That Tune on YouTube. And it's fun every week. He's just doing Name That Tune. And these guys are looking for a drummer. And again, going back to what we said about social media, there's so much out there. They just saw it, they liked his look, and they liked how he played. And they're like, hey, you want to be our drummer?
Yeah.
Wasn't it great if it was just that easy on
Yeah,
everything in life?
Yeah, sometimes it is.
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, the more savvy you are with getting your image out there and putting stuff out online, I mean, that's how people are looking for stuff now. They're not bothering with demos, and they just click and let's see what's out there,
Now, as you're branching off now and growing up a little bit, you're coming more onto the scene. What were some of your first bands, projects?
So I had one of my first bands was with my cousins. Yeah. So my cousin Sean played guitar, and I guess we had a pretty fun band in the late 80s, early 90s called Funk You.
You heard
of that band? Yeah. We would play shows with Big Hair every Thanksgiving, and it was kind of like punk rock, reggae, heavy metal mix with the funk.
Wow.
And we were jamming. Yeah, we jammed pretty hard for 4 years, and so
I like when you come together like that, though. And you just think of, okay, what do you want to do? Yacht rock? Let's do funk, metal, reggae.
Yeah,
sounds good.
Yeah, but we didn't even think about it like that. It was like no intention. Like, this is what we're going to do. We just would play, and that's what came out.
See, I would think now I've said it every show almost, that the most important thing you could have the best musician in the world, and if there's no feel or there's no chemistry, it's chemistry. And somehow it sort of has to happen organically, I think. If you get together, well, what do you want to sound like? Bye.
Yeah, that's key, yeah.
You start playing together, and all of a sudden it turns into, well, I want to do a folk band, and it turns into a death metal band, because that's how, you know what I mean?
Well, that's what I was talking about with you earlier about the intangible things of music, because we were going to expound on that a little bit. But, you can't, there are certain things you can't learn. Well, you can, I guess, but like listening. If you don't listen to what's going on around you, you're just going to be in your own little world playing out of sync with everything. You have to listen. You have to get ideas from whatever you hear. There's a lot of it, and people just have to gel. I mean, there's no way you can be the great player, but somebody, if you can't stand being in a room with somebody, those are things you can't predict.
Sometimes. And that brings you to the opposite side. I mean, you don't have to be technically amazing to really make good sounds with the right people.
Right. Right.
I
mean, if you compliment each other, then it kind of give and take, and everybody fits a piece in, and it makes a whole thing.
There you go. Yeah. So you don't necessarily have to know all your stuff as long as it's vibing well and you're playing.
Yeah, but see, that's what I mean. You can't teach that. That's what I was getting at. There's so many intangible things with a good tone, a good feel. Some of it's technical, but some of it is just
a feel.
Yeah, some guys can't tune drums to save their lives. They can play the crap out of them, but they don't know how to tune them, and things like that. You just have to.
Yeah, it's good to have a natural feel first, and then as you learn more theory, you can apply it.
Right.
And that opens up. It's like a new palette. It's like a new color you can paint with. The more stuff you learn that you can draw from.
Yep.
That's a good idea. The whole river meets the road idea, like how much is natural playing, learning on your own, then you meet theory and technical.
Yeah.
How does that what's really the importance of that, do you think, if people can really pull that off where they go?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I know for myself, but you guys can expound on this. So, like, I was a street player. I took regular lessons and all that, but once I got this NAS there and did the music ed thing, then you start learning composition, you start learning ear training, sight singing, all that stuff. And, all of a sudden, you're learning all these extra things, and then you have to realize, okay, I can do more, but you have to realize when to pull back and when to add and when to,
when not to play.
Yeah, I mean, silence is golden. It's what you don't play is the loudest note you can do, type
But
of thing.
also learning the theory stuff can be very helpful because I could play Tommy a melody and he can sit there and write it out in note form so he doesn't, so he'll have it written
that's
there.
Great.
And he can do it right then and there because he knows his stuff.
It's not one of those necessary things, but it makes your life easier and it makes things faster. And if you can do all that stuff, that's great.
Yep.
It's like John Bonham said, this sort of, and I'll paraphrase it, that, you could do a triple paradiddle, but who the heck knows what that is? You got to play with the feeling.
Yeah.
And there's something, and I've been thinking about this with bands lately a lot, that a lot of times you go through a lot of great bands, and there's sort of I'm trying to think of a good word there, like it's a really sort of rough mix of people and characters where some people, they're just different personalities. They don't really get along, but it's for the music. And I'm actually stealing this idea from my friend Hannah because she's asked people this on her show. That how is it, like, part of being a musician, that when you're working with people and maybe the really players you can relate to, you can make some really good music, but you really don't get along with them that well. And how can you deal with that? Or is it worth it even? I mean, we're
that's
like,
why you take
like
separate planes and separate hotel rooms.
Well, Greg and I are sort of like the Oasis brothers or the Davies brothers. That's why we have the guests in between, because we fight or throw stuff at each other. You bastard, we're going to throw another coffee
well,
at you.
brothers, any brothers combination is always going to be volatile. I don't know why. Yeah. I mean, you just never seem to get over that sibling crap. I don't know why.
I mean, it's nice to like the people that you're playing with because you can develop a good camaraderie and you sort of got each other's back at that point.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So I need to like the people that I'm playing with, or I probably won't play with them.
I have a view on life a little bit, especially at my age and everything, the trials and tribulations of life. It's got to be kind of fun, at this point. I don't want to have somebody come in and go, now, don't get my spotlight or anything.
Oh, yeah.
And related to that, too, is we've touched on this. On this show, we're always, after the show, why didn't I ask that? Why didn't we talk about that more? And Greg, a couple shows ago, said, I wish I talked about, it's like, you're a drummer. It's not your fault. But he wanted to talk a little about
stuff.
What did you want to use about the idea and I've seen this from people I've seen playing. Well, they'll look at each other and you realize, okay, they're always, as musicians, they're always pretty good, but they hit that moment where it's like something really fantastic happened.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I remember, I've used this story before, that Herb Smith is playing one day and he's doing this song about, it's like, park walking, and he stops at the end. Now you'll know it's a podcast, not a radio show, because you can swear. And he said, man, that was the best fucking time we've ever played this. Something really great happened. Mm-hmm. And there's moments, I know, Greg, you wanted to talk about, we had it on, I guess, a couple weeks ago, we were talking about.
What's that?
Like, you forgot. Sort of those moments, like those almost outer body experiences. Like,
I mean, you're just riding the wave. Like there's times when you're just so in sync that you're just riding this wave. You're not even thinking. I mean, I get that with some bass players that we just know each other's style, and you just kind of you're not even thinking about the patterns. You're just doing them, and everybody's matching and. And if you try to play the same thing all the time, that kind of helps. That's kind of how you stay tight. Mm-hmm. There are certain kinds of music you can definitely jam and experiment, but some songs have to just be boom, whack, that's it.
It's almost like we talked about, football for a brief second. It's almost like the whole idea in sports where, like, you're a hockey player or a basketball player. You know where somebody is. You're not looking because you just... you have this chemistry, and I don't think we could ever explain chemistry to people. You have it or you don't.
Yeah. Well, let's take a good working example here. Nate, you've been hosting the Open Jam, right, at Murph's for how long?
Yeah, a couple years.
13.
13.
Just a few years.
So when you get up there, I'm sure, and I mean, I've experienced it too. You get people up there, they're harder to follow. Some people are great to work with, you know, and you're giving people a chance, so they might not be used to playing in front of people and things like that.
That's right.
But, you know, you can sort of tell, wow, this guy's got it. Like, you have that one bass player, that guy's phenomenal. That tall guy.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's just all these great people come and go, and it's just like, wow, it's like a little menu of great players.
Yeah, how did that come about?
Yeah.
How did you get the idea to undertake such a calling for that?
Well, my friend Dan Murphy, he had the bar Murphys, and he asked me to do it. So I did. I started doing it for pretty much because he asked.
I love that. It's like, it's always, you know, keep it simple.
Yeah. And he's
up to it was next to the House of Guitars way back.
Yeah. Yeah, so we would get all those people from the house guitars would come over, and Dan was a singer too, so he'd love to have music there, so he could sing too. But yeah, the chemistry, you know, that's how you. Sometimes musicians come in and you can just make something up right on the spot, and it can be magical.
Yeah, actually now my mind's going, my memory's going. I remember when that was there now.
Yeah.
Because I know that's
a
smoky
townhouse,
low house, a low roof, and
yeah.
Yeah, what were some of the places, now that you brought that up, what are some of the places you played that was sort of interesting?
Oh, Red Creek.
Oh, girl.
Tommy's gone from the Red Creek to Carnegie Hall.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is it true about, like, the dressing room of Red Creek that they could drip grease from the kitchen? I've heard that story.
I remember there was water down there once when I was down.
That was a little before my time.
The basement was even worse. You had to change or something.
That's where I think it was.
It was like, 4 feet high and full of eggs. And,
there's the famous story, and I've heard some people have corroborated it. I don't know if it's true. It's one of those you sort of hope was true. That Jaco Pastorius played there. And they couldn't find him. And they found him by the railroad tracks painted yellow or something.
Yep, I heard that story, yeah.
Not me, no.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff
Well,
happened.
that was at the little, sort of the tail end of it for me at my age. But I met Harry Dean Stanton there, which is cool. He was like the nicest guy, mellowest guy. You know, I always say I missed all the good stuff just by this much. I missed Scorgies. I missed all these.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
Scorgies, too.
Yeah, that was wild, right?
all those places.
Village Gate, right? Scorgies.
I was
No,
on like
Andrew
Andrew
Street.
Street. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then
Yeah.
Backstreets was another good club.
It was huge.
Yeah.
But what were some of the places you found interesting to play?
Go ahead, Tommy.
Brick and Nail.
heard the
Lilac.
name.
Oh, yeah, Brick and Nail.
What about
With,
the CCs? You like doing these meditation shows at the?
Yeah, it's pretty.
He does a
mellow
lot
stuff.
of it. He does healing meditation shows.
Well, how did you get
How
into
cool
that?
is that? Yeah.
Pretty much the flute is kind of a mellow instrument, and Indians like it, and it fits with.
So he would go to the healing sessions as a patron, and then he would sort of meet people and then offer your service.
Yep.
Yep.
No, that's cool.
That is great.
Yeah.
And how'd you get into the flute, too?
I played sax, and you always double on flute if you're a sax player.
Mm-hmm.
Same exact fingerings. Embouchure is different.
It is the same thing.
Yeah,
So
exactly the same.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Only you're out here instead of down here.
Right.
So,
Learn something new every show.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's been interesting for me. Like I've played, say, the Rochester Jazz Fest a bunch of years in a row, and also like CBGB's in New York City. Played there. So,
You tried Chili's Chili?
no, he wasn't there when I was there.
When I asked Amy Rigby about that. She's like, "No, I'm trying that."
And that's what he feeds his dogs.
Yeah.
Are the bathrooms really as gross
Did
as
you ever
they
see
say?
the movie?
Yeah.
You ever see the
That's
movie
true.
with Ellen Rickman? I think they're like making the chili. Somebody puts a cigarette in it.
Oh man.
But you expect it, I think. I think if you go, like, to a CBGB's, and it's pristine,
Oh, it's not
and it
the
doesn't
same.
look like if you fall on the floor, you'll get stiff. It's sort of like, it's sort of disappointing.
That's
I had a
right.
friend who, like, met Johnny Ron, and she's like, oh, it was horrible. He was nice. But then I had another friend meet him. He's like, sort of rude. That's great. That's what I wanted. But how'd you get to play CBGB's? That's a great story.
Yeah, I was in a band with Joff Wilson of the Earthlings,
All right.
the Fugitives, and he was playing that style of music. He opened up for the Ramones several times, and we actually backed Jim Carroll when he came to town. He's
Oh, wow.
a famous
Catholic
New York
boy.
City poet.
You ever hear the story now? Maybe you can confirm or deny this one too. I love this. It's like there's a story about Jim Carroll where he came on stage and he was on something.
Yep.
He comes on, he's like looking around, sees like a roach or something, steps on it, passes out.
Yeah.
Like the next day, this is about interpretive. The next day, there's an article in the paper saying it was a brilliant performance where he demonstrated his opposition to the Vietnam War.
Wow. That's some spin right there.
Yeah.
You know where I saw him, though? First time I ever saw Jim Carroll was on that show Fridays, and people don't realize, like, for what is it? They had, like, The Jam. They had all these really good musical guests.
Yeah. Yeah, so we were playing that type of music, and we were just gung-ho to be where the people were at, and CBGB's was a legendary club, so I believe Joff just reached out and was able to secure a gig there.
That's his
That's great.
I find sense of place like that, loving music, like incredible. I had to go to the Beacon Theater.
Sure.
And I saw Jason Isbell. For me, it was like, okay, one drink was like $16, but come on, it's New York.
That's
Yeah, it was worth it.
You know,
But
yeah.
Tommy got the gig at Carnegie Hall because he searched out a interesting musician that he found intriguing to him. He went to her shows and introduced themselves, and slowly she realized he played the flute, and then so he played the flute, and then she was like, "I'm playing at Carnegie Hall, and you're great. Come play with me." So a lot of you got to put a little oomph into it, and then it can branch out if you're. If the seed gets planted.
I always thought you got a gig at Carnegie Hall through practice.
Really? I heard it was you go to 52nd Street and turn right. That's how you get there.
You know what it is? I can tell you, the weirdness of life. I'm a
right in Greenland.
I don't know what like my spiritual beliefs are really. Who knows? I read a lot about it, but I believe in serendipity a lot. Like things just sometimes just happen to you.
Yeah.
And that's cool. How was Carnegie Hall?
It was cool. Very nice.
Do you have a weird feeling about that a little bit, though? Because, like, if I mentioned the Beacon Theater, if it was like Carnival of Randomness live from the Beacon Theater, it would be really, really weird. Or does it just seem like another gig, or like, I'm at Carnegie Hall?
Yeah, you walk through the same doors the Beatles did, and, Bartok and Mailer, and it's exciting.
I've gotten that just a little bit from a few friends who played who they're like playing with or like opening for like bands we grew up with, and there's like this feeling where like, hey, we were pals in high school and we dug these guys, and now like I know them or you know them or we're playing with them. It's like the beauty of music right there.
Yeah, it is. Yep. But that's a lot of fun.
But going on, how many different projects have you done? Actually,
we've had a nice one together.
Yeah, well, how's that?
World music, we call it.
Yeah, so we draw from a bunch of genres.
Yeah, playing all sorts of different music.
I like that during the horror year of 2020, I got really into world music a lot because that's what I love about music. There's always it renews itself. I listen to one thing, and I've always tried to. Well, I bet you listen to 5 things like most some days, but all of a sudden I'm listening to like old African music, Arabian music.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you go through phases, whether you're listening to music or performing with people. You might play with a group for 3-4 years, and then maybe your interests change, or you want to try something different. So that's how you end up in multiple bands. Right. Some people stay in the one band their whole career, and other people like to bounce around a little bit.
You bounce around all the time.
Yeah, I like variety. That's why.
Yeah, I think I'll say you sort of like have the touch of like the musical explorer in you. It's not where I'm going to sit around. Okay, it's like the 20th year, and I'm playing the same song.
Right. So that's a nice.
That's cool if you enjoy doing it. Yeah. No problems with that.
Yeah, musical explorer. That's a nice way to put it.
Yeah.
I've used that for. I call it. The first time I came up with that term was like with Robert Plant, because I was looking at. Okay, he could have cashed in just being Zeppelin Jr. his whole career.
Yeah.
I know, man. I've listened to there was something online or on streaming with his world music band, and they were at Glastonbury or somewhere. And boy, they did like Black Dog. They did some Zeppelin song. I mean, you could not, if you didn't know the words, you'd never know it was the same song. Yeah, because they put that spin on it where there's lots of percussion and like a lot of different arrangements and things. It's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, and they have the balls to take that chance. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because I think some fans, they get upset because I think we're all sort of ingrained and we have to sort of break the cycle of just what we like and we know and try to go outside that box and be brave enough to go outside the box. And it's like Dylan. When I saw Dylan, it took me half the song to realize it was playing like a Rolling Stone.
Is that right? Wow.
Yeah, because like, okay, what's it's on the? He's like, next me, and I'm like, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
But I enjoy that because think about how many times he had to play that song.
Yeah, how many times you play the song?
Yeah. I think he's actually a good vocalist myself. I do. I really
So
do.
even his vocal things have changed. You know, he'll have a period where his voice sounds one way. 5 years later, his voice is sounding different.
I always call it like Tom Waits. Like I think around 75, got the really gravelly Tom Waits.
Like the Lay Lady Lay period. That doesn't sound like him to me at all.
Yeah, you can't tell.
My dad, though, first time I played Tom Waits for him, was like, is that Cookie Monster? No, especially like when you're doing these jams, you come up with them, you have to be sort of a chameleon in a way, I would think, too, because you have to adapt to, like, how do you do that, though? Is somebody come up and you say, okay, I want to play, I'll pick a name out of the hat, Tom Petty. Can you do it?
Sure. Well, yeah, when you've been playing as long as, you have all these things in your back pocket that you can draw from.
Right.
Yeah, if you're at a country place or if you're at a place downtown, we played for a sheriff's ball. And Hollywood Al, black singer, drummer, he starts off with this tune, I Shot the Sheriff. And it's a bunch of cops, it's a buffet, It's like,
I love intelligent Al.
Don't worry, though, if you're the deputy, you're safe, man.
I know his son. You ever play with his son?
Of course.
That's actually a good point you made of just saying that song, I Shot the Sheriff, because, of course, what did I hear? The Clapton version first, but I like to learn about things a bit. So I look, that's how I got into reggae, and then I watched The Harder They Come, which is one of my favorite soundtrack albums of all time. So that's how I got into reggae. And it goes like that. It's like you can learn from anything like that. I just wanted to go back very briefly to Robert Plant for a minute, because we were talking about the Musical Explorer. There's a thing on YouTube, and it's like the Criterion Closet, was Plant picking out records. I had to get my pen out and freeze it, because every record's some kind of international traditional music, and I loved it in a way, because I'm like, I never heard of any of these. They're great. He didn't pull out like okay, Led Zeppelin 3 or
yeah, you found it intrigues you,
yeah,
like if you're interested.
And what do you do too if you listen to it and you don't like it? You took up like 5 minutes for a song or something.
That's right.
It's not the end of the world.
That's right. That's right.
Else. But how do you see, like, in terms of open mic and everything, do you get people that come up and you sort of like almost like some people are really nervous? Are you like, okay, just calm down, we're all among friends here?
Oh, yeah.
'Cause I would freak, I admit, if I did that.
Yeah, if somebody's really nervous, I do my best to, I got you, just relax, we'll be fine, and you got to coach them along.
That's good, though. See, that's it's not, you're not trying to find the next genius or something. You're just having fun with people and letting them play, and that's good. I think that's great. Like, I have a student, an older person, and he goes, I just want to be able to jam with people and play with people. He goes, and he's very analytical, this guy. So he's like, well, if I go to an open jam, how's it going to go? And what are they going to say? And I said, well, they might say play something funky or play something, I said, you have to know the songs. You have to know the styles. There's no magic bullet answer, so... Yeah. I'm trying to show him different grooves, so like if he'd be ready for anything.
Like a blues or something,
right?
Yeah.
We started on blues, 12/8.
You got to know you got to know your scales and stuff,
right.
to be able to play in a different key. If somebody says we're in the key of G, Tommy knows all his scales, so he can hop right in there.
That's important. Transposing,
very important if that's what you want to do. Not everybody wants to do that, but if that's what you're into. Right. And that's what you need.
And I think there's a beauty of Rochester. I mean, I've lived elsewhere, and it's surprising. You'll hear it and you'll go, nah, it's not true or whatever. But just the variety on the music scene here. And I used to be, when I could go out and I could actually see or not be, have to drink a powerful caffeine drink to stay up past 10, I would be starting off. It's like, what am I going to see now? Any day of the week, you could see a variety of stuff. Yeah. And my biggest thing for me, the one time people would laugh at me for it, because I went from a ballet to like a punk death rock.
Yeah, one night an hour away. Yeah. Well, that's the beauty of Rochester's scene. There's lots of music here, and everybody's
the music
pretty
schools,
good.
Yep.
you pick up, and then you pick up. That's like I said. I met so and so. Then I met so and so because I always call a lot of times my class of 2012 because I met a lot of like really talented musicians that year, and just seeing how they've evolved, which is really cool. It's like the kids are all right around here. And what are both of you working on now? And what have you done also for like CDs and everything?
Yeah,
like
so
music too.
You're about to hear, I think Andy's going to play a couple pieces. Tommy and I had a quartet that we did, World Music Quartet, and all originals, spanning reggae and Latin jazz to some pop stuff. So we recorded that together, and then Tommy's got a couple CDs on his own. Mm-hmm. What's that one he's going to spin for you?
It's kind of a Spanish thing. If you guys remember a guy named Jack Edward Smith.
Oh yeah. He's a serious classical Spanish, almost virtuoso, technical wizard, really.
Wow, that's awesome.
So you did a couple songs with him, and that's what they're going to play.
Yeah, I think so.
Is it like a flamenco type thing?
Yeah.
It's actually a good question because I know Nate, you do like your world music. And I have a lot of your stuff. Yeah. And how do you get? I always say there's one of my favorite films is Ghost World, if you've ever seen it, but there's a band called Blues Hammer, and I always crack up because it's like the guy's on a date, he's like, and it starts off this, I don't know who it was, but it's an authentic blues man. I don't know if it's John Ellis, like somebody. He's playing
Johnny Hooker or something.
Yeah, it was somebody. But then it's like, you got to, guys are drinking beer. It's like a sports bar. You got to hear Blues Hammer. They're authentic. It's these guys come out. I've been plowing in cotton all day long. How do you get that feeling of? Are you able to sort of have like I'm trying to think of a good word, not empathy, but like how do you get? I would call your music. You have a very touch of authenticity to it. Mm-hmm. And how do you get that? Is it just innate? You sort of like get the feel for where it's coming from? Yeah. Why do I use the word innate all the time? I'm not making fun of it.
You sort of have to just succumb to your sound, for it to be authentic. This is what I got, this is what I am, and this is it.
It's from knowing a lot of different sounds first and then saying, like, this is what I like. And
I always made the comment, I made the comment, like with John Prine, Sam Stone, to sing that, you got to live it. Like the blues or whatever.
That's right.
And I wouldn't want to live with Sam Stone had to live. But,
I had somebody ask me the other day at a lesson if blues or jazz came first. And I had to sit there for a second. I said, well, one's kind of based on the other, and
blues came first.
Blues came,
blues came
probably.
First.
I mean, right? The blues came first, from the '30s and whatnot, and then jazz, as we know it, sort of started. Late 40s, 50s.
I think
20s and 30s.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, like the
thanks, Andy.
The beboppy jazz and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, Saints Go Marching was 1905.
Wow.
I think it's named after Jazz Water. I think that's the name for it.
Wasn't it called Jazz?
I don't know. I love origins about that.
Yeah. Google that.
And everything.
You kids at home.
Yes,
that's great.
That's how we're here for you to be a learning experience where you can just follow up.
This is
If
very
you say something
informative.
wrong, send us an email. We'll fix it.
Very informative.
No, I've been like I admit, like I've always loved the blues, but. My favorite movie of the year was Sinners from last year, so I
want to see that.
I got to
you'll love it.
Yeah,
make sure you watch the ending too.
But
I really got into it, and it was the whole idea, sort of like Robert Johnson at the Crossroads and stuff. But I really started getting into the blues from that.
Do it.
He's got go on, do it.
No, that's all right. That's all right.
Do it.
There you go.
Hey, great man. Trains are coming.
Come on, you're the drummer.
You got to be the train.
I'll do the line from the movie. Well, we're going to make some money tonight.
There you go.
Talk about a little bit about your recordings then, and how it's the. I always used to say, and it wasn't derogatory, but I remember like from the older days, I would call some like recordings you could hear they were local. Where now stuff's fantastic, just because of the updates. So, what have been some of your recordings, and how did that go about? How did you like studio work? Like, how do you?
I love studio work.
you guys play it live, like sort of live, or just not? You just do all the fun. I've seen studio work here; it's fantastic.
Yeah, Andy does some great work, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I like putting on one track at a time, especially if you're more of a solo guy, and you can really hone in on what you like and play exactly what you want instead of asking somebody, do you think you can play it like this? Or
Yeah, I would think like anybody, like the studio guy, they just make you be the best you can.
Mm-hmm.
Not, okay, you have to play this note, or like the guy in Whiplash throws something at you.
In the high-tech stuff, if you make a mistake these days, you can just plunk it in, and you don't have to waste a whole lot of time.
True, that's great. Yeah.
With the new technology, yeah.
But I do laugh at a couple things. I've seen some things in the studio where I'll play for friends, and they'll go, wow, I mean, she's really, really good. That guitar player is fantastic. And I'm going, I sort of laugh about it. But the other question, too, how did you get together and start playing together?
Let's see. Well, Tommy and I would run into each other when he was in the Hollywood and Ale in the Mix. That's when we first crossed paths. We had a couple gigs where I was playing in a band. I don't even remember who, but we'd be breaking down, and he'd be setting up, and we just started to say, hey, and then that happened a few times.
Yeah, and I needed a bass guy one night, and he said, yeah, I play bass.
Okay.
It's out at Canandaigua somewhere.
At the Inn on the Lake or something?
Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and then, it bounces to, oh, this guy's cool, and he asked me to play, and I like his vibe, so we'll do some more of it. Great player, and then, I could use some flute on this. Come on and do it, and
nice.
So that's how we sort of, just a musical camaraderie, and then, of course, the friendship, the person.
Those are the best, though. Yeah. They can't be, like, created, just, like, spontaneous.
Yeah.
I found Greg rifling around, like, the trash looking for stuff one day out there, like, oh, it's a drummer. Hey, you want to be on a podcast?
Yeah, look at you guys now.
It's, like, perfect chemistry.
Two got any food?
But also, I've done...
Two peas in a pod.
I am fascinated by history, and sometimes I always say you don't really want to learn the truth about things. But, like, a lot of music, and you read about the industry, it's fake, it's nasty. And I try to push more. You go to see local shows, you're going to see real music, authentic. And I always say, I'm fine with cover bands, I'm fine with originals, but you see people who, like, a lot of times I've seen cover bands, and they're great, do great stuff, they're entertaining. But I see almost... Okay, you're really good musicians, but there's not a passion because But I see, and I always push like original because you could see the passion when you're playing, and I don't think that sounds pretentious or anything. It's just you could see it comes from the heart. It's authentic.
Yeah, you got to do the music first, and then that's what it's for.
Yeah, it's pouring out. But really, I really think if you go to see live shows, that's where it's at. Because it's not like somebody, okay, did they play on the album? Yeah, they're playing.
The one track that Andy's going to play that Tommy and I did together, we recorded live in the studio, just all together, just recorded it live in like 2 takes.
Wow.
So
Is that Dave Anderson?
We did that at, we did this at Mike Ennis's spot.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm giving a little chuckle about that because I do know some perfectionists are like, can we do it again? It's like, no, you're not Stanley Kubrick. It sounds fine. The first,
apparently, like Billie Eilish, I guess for some of her
his idol,
she does 80 vocal tracks.
Yeah,
80, and then takes the best 2 seconds from here, the best 2 seconds from there.
I don't know. Is that?
I know David Lee Roth did a lot of that.
I can't.
Michael Jackson too. 93 takes on Thriller.
Is that like being a jerk though, or just odd?
2. You got 2 minutes.
But I want to make sure. Like, thank you guys for being on. This has been a lot of fun.
Man.
What's coming up for you?
Good questions.
Does Greg have any? Greg always.
Well, I wanted to know, like, where do you teach? Do you teach lessons on your own or at a store?
Yeah, both. I got my own spot in Victor. I teach out of a church out there, and I got a few spots open. But my schedule's pretty full. I'm at Northfield Music on Saturdays, House Guitars on Mondays, Mobile Music in Canandaigua on Fridays.
That's the place, yeah.
And the House Guitars on Mondays.
How can we find you? Do you have
good.
anything online or anything?
Yeah, you could just Google me, and all my stuff's right there online. Just Google Nate Coffey, Coffee with a Y.
Yeah, you have one of. I would say out of all the guests, and I've enjoyed this obviously, but you're probably my favorite last name because it's my hobby. I live for your last name.
That's right, man.
Oh,
Perk
yeah.
up, buddy.
And
Perk
that
up.
coffee you gave me was great, by the way.
See what I mean? I'm promoting you. He's like, while he's drinking, you're like, coffee? I got to go see Nate.
Bring us any.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But what do we look around? You'll be able to find them. You do the open jam.
Yeah, I'm at Murph's every Wednesday. I think Tommy's playing at Spritz's every Friday
Something like
in
that.
May, and he plays every Saturday at Talia of India during the dinner hour.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then I got a bunch of gigs. Just you can just
Go get
I'm
Nate.
on
Say,
Facebook.
I want to play Weird Al Yankovic songs all night. And what do we? You want to just? You've sort of talked about what you're going to play. You want to say what they're going to play on here? Or you missed the best part. They were playing keyboards for the show.
That was great.
I got a minute and a half of that on the phone.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
All right.
I forget what track. What?
I don't know.
I always say, you know what? Stick around to the end. You'll be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
But Tommy, Nate, thanks a lot.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
Greg,
man.
thanks for the
Thank
coffee compliment.
Oh, you're very welcome. Green Mountain rocks.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Adios.
Peace out.